Okay, so in our today we're coming to our fourth tutorial. So in today's session, we're going to be able to review a web-based solution. So what did we cover so far? In our first tutorial, we covered the technologies which are required for us to create our website. We looked into our front end with the use of HTML, CSS, and as a markup language, and the use of JavaScript as our programming language to define the behaviors and pattern of our website. And also we looked into the backend with the different programming languages such as PHP, Node.js, Java, and so on. And then we also spoke about databases and how these are used to store and manipulate data. While in our second tutorial, we spoke about marketing strategies and how we use a search engine optimizer in order to improve our website and define these keywords which will allow us to rank our website on the top pages of Google or any other web browser. And then in our last tutorial, we also looked into them in a specific way. So we analyzed how this has to be done, and we looked into type of programming languages and their purpose and where these are going to be used. And in today's session, we're going to review them. We're going to look into our final part. So today we're looking into technology evaluation criteria. And today we're going to basically have a discussion where we review how these are used in each businesses. So one of our first question is the technology's API stable. So what do we mean by API? Our API is our application programming interface, which works as a middleman and allows us to connect our front end with our back end, or it allows us to connect to other type of microservices around the web. So as we can see here, we do have a definition for this. So a technology with a rapidly changing API will now present significant development challenges. So every time we now upgrade, we now run the risk of breaking the core portion of our system, which will now force to write the thing that change over and over. While alternatively, if we do not upgrade at all, this will now live with stock using technology that might be missing great and trending features, or even security patches that we will now need. So it is really important to know in what position we are and how we can now progress. Other questions other criteria that we need to take consideration could be how much would it cost to keep up with any challenges. So development time costs money. So as we all know in a company, time is very precious, and developers need to read and learn changes. So these codes need to be changed. And if the technology has changed very rapidly, we can now keep it up. Also, what are the major pieces still being added or removed? So as we can see, like the change in API, if you don't know what the platform looks like, even in the short term, chances are you suffer from it. So it is really important to know how to add or remove and manipulate data within our application. Also, we need to know how doable, how easy it would be to train and integrate new members into your development team. So if we hire now some entry levels or interns, we need to be able to have the skills to train them and understand the potential and see how these people can now fit into the team in order to bring some value to the team and make the team work in a better way and more efficient. So other criteria, we now have to know how much the developers who know this technology cost to hire compared to current developers. These are statistics. So we need to understand the company culture and what is the main goal. So depending on companies and budgets, they will now have different type of criteria when it comes to hiring new interns and focusing on developing the team. So we need to understand these statistics and look into how this can be done. Also, is there a healthy amount of third-party libraries and tools available for the technology? So whenever it comes to working with programming languages, we know that they have loads of libraries. So for instance, a programming language like Python could have Matplot, NumPy, and so on. So all these libraries have a lot of documentation which developers should be able to go through in order for them to improve and develop new skills. So we need to know how relevant these libraries can be when it comes to working in a tech company with them. Another question could be, is there a healthy amount of tutorials on written content available? So whenever there is new releases from a software, they will always come with a README documentation regarding all the information, and they will also provide some dummy data when it comes to testing and developing this new application. So it's also important for us to have the ability to go through the documentation, because whenever you have any sort of bugs or any sort of technical issues, we have to have the ability to read through the documentation in order to understand how to overcome this challenge. Also, is the technology ecosystem growing or shrinking? So as you can see, a growing ecosystem can be a good indicator of healthiness. So by having people who are moving the technology for a reason. However, if people are abandoning the technology, the technology is droves, or it figures out why. Also, is there a language the technology is based on, widely used and growing in popularity? So we can see that sometimes technology might itself seem stable, but built on a complete understandable base. Also, other question could be, is there technology backed by significant sponsor? So most of these technology are always backed by corporate who are ready and willing to invest in new training technologies, and in order for them to also have a return of interest from this new advanced technology. Also, those your company have skills to utilize the technology. So this is a very good point, where when it comes to growing the business or evolving, it is important to know if the company has the capability to adapt and learn and quickly use these new features. So some companies might see themselves ready for it, while others will now require more time and maybe the help of a consultant or some expertise in the area. So exactly coming to the concept of a consultant, we also have to know, is there any expert in technology available? So these high-skilled people are very expensive, or they will have a high cost to the company. So depending on what can be the benefit of hiring them, company always have to take this into consideration before hiring them. Also, does the technology play nice with existing technology in using with the organization? So if we now buy a Windows-based IDE for any team of developers, that will now use Mac. So this is a poor purchase decision. So it is important to know what environment and what type of frameworks our team or company are deciding to work with. Okay, so another important evaluation: does the technology meet the organization current and future needs? So as we mentioned before, depending if you work as a project manager or you have any other related role within the company, there are certain questions that need to be answered before deciding to make any changes or adopting a new technology. And all these evaluation will now be reviewed in a meeting during a fixed, a set date, which project managers and stakeholders and board of directors will now sit down and review how this technology has improved the business and how did they impact the company and the employees. Also, does technology offer significant advantage over currently used technology? So when it comes to changing technology for the sake of changing technology is a waste of time and effort and also money. Unless this technology gives a massive benefit, changes isn't worth it. So switching from a relational database vendor to a relational database vendor B, when you don't or won't use any differentiating features, or either has a waste of ethic of programming for them, resume. So another good question is, are currently used technologies being fully leveraged or utilized? So this comes down again to our project manager and whoever is in charge of the team to do this evaluation and see how much they've benefited by implementing this new technology. Also, some of these might have, some question might have, do they have any fees or any cost associated with it? So depending on maybe you're deciding to pick up a new CRM system or a new lease line, you need to understand what are going to be the cost and how this is going to affect your budget, and what are going to be the additional fees or interests which are going to be added. Also, we need to look into those using technology, like the organization into that technology ecosystem. So as we all know, companies would like to have flexibility, which will now allow them to switch from one system to another one. So it is a really important feature when a company decide to hire or purchase a new system. So these are all stuff that has to be taken into consideration. And also, how easy will it be to change away from this technology? So the migration from one system to another, it is a very important step where it is important to know how smooth and easy this can happen. And also what could be the risks and such as data breach or data loss that can affect the company while they're going through this transition. Also, we need to see how easy it is to change existing system to the use of new technologies. So if we're now going to integrate in with a new existing system, it is incredibly fast and easy. So this can be an advantage as it is going to provide an opportunity to realize value from the technology much faster. Also, how much customization will now be required to make this technology work for the current and future needs. So we need to look into off-the-shelf solution sometimes do not require to do what you need to do, and you just need to work hard to transform it to what you want. So we need to have the skills, the ability to tailor the software in order for it to work for us. Also, can your technology be used for production use? So some technology which are inappropriate for production use. This, if they're tinkering, will be okay, but the chances are that you want this technology to be used for production. So we now have to ensure that this technology that we are choosing is good enough and is reliable when it comes to using it for our team. Also, we need to take consideration if there are third parties involved when it comes to our technology. So there are loads of software, maybe CRM software, which do not, where the ecosystem do not support some features. So they now need to rely on external entities or third parties who can now bring their own service in order for our software to work and provide the additional service that have been required from our stakeholder. So, and we also use easily change behavior of the technology based on target of our environment. So we can see that changes that we're having in multiple environments for development. We're now including staging and testing our server. So we might have multiple environments for production as well. So different clients might require different behaviors from our technology. So if the technology is difficult to change based on the target or environment, we might need to find an alternative solution. Another good question will be now, can the technology be deployed in a way you need to be deployed? So it is important to know how easy it is to launch on the market our new software, and how and what type of obstacles we might encounter when it comes to deploying on the web. So does the technology require changes to other technologies in use? So we need to look into how this choice doesn't happen in a vacuum. So we all know that changes, we have to go through a life cycle, the decision-making life cycle, and this could require weeks, months, or perhaps even years. Also, we need, when it comes to choosing our new software, before doing the migration, we need to have a look at what are the other similar softwares on the market and what are the features that they provide, and how do we think the one that we've chosen can now benefit us. Okay, so another good question would be, is the technology secure? So we need to look into the security features and what type of benefits we can now have by working with this technology. Also, important question would be related to the performance, maintenance, and updates. So this will now be related to our user experience. So all this data will now be gathered from the use of our stakeholders and client. And once they've been gathered and analyzed, we can now return with some feedback for our developers in order for them to improve the use of our software. Also, we have looked into SEO. There are some good practice for us to understand how we can track its performance. So there are different type of ways, such as engagement metrics, or the type of software which allows us to look into the traffic and extract some insights. So such as some of these software could be Google Analytics, and so on. So this was everything for today's session. Do you have any question for me?
There's no question here.
Okay, so if we have no question, and I will end the session, and I'll see you on next Monday. On Monday.
Okay.
See you Monday. Bye.